Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros. Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC. And guess what? Episode number 56 of the Sports Bros Podcast is up and running. Just like one of our Sports Bros got the call the other day. Hey, get up off your butt. Time to come back to work. Up and running. Man, we got an action-packed episode of the Sports Bros Podcast coming to you on this wonderful day. I hope y'all out there practicing social distancing, not breathing on each other. If you're in Jacksonville, Florida, I'm praying for you. Some states have only been shut down for 14 days, and they got the itch, and the government's like, well, let's go ahead and open it up. I think it's a bad idea, but what I think doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about sports. The Sports Bros Podcast. This ain't CNN, any of the news channels. We are your escape. Okay, we're essential too. Okay, WWE, we're essential too. All right, as I mentioned, my co-host, the Almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I say it with emphasis because this is something else. Still, we're surviving this pandemic, but we're going to come to you every single week, and there's something we're going to find something when it comes to sports to talk about. This is actually going to be, I'm very excited about this show. Was watching ESPN a little bit. We are recording on Sunday night, so switching up a little bit. We're still gonna come at you on Tuesday, I do believe, barring anything crazy. But so timing might be a little bit off with a couple things that we talk about, but we definitely wanted to come at you with some fresh new material. So, and then we're gonna go with some old material with that other guy that's on our podcast.
Oh wow! I mean, yeah, barring any unforeseen circumstances, there should be none barring the unforeseen because I just paid my damn internet bill, so we good to go. All right. And the other guy, the one, the only, the Money Man, Scottie D.
The old guy. That's why we're gonna have old stuff to talk about because I'm an old guy, and actually, I'm a fat guy. I'm sitting around self-quarantining to the tune of about 10 extra pounds already in the last month. So if you hear any weird sounds coming at you through this podcast, it might just be my waist expanding a little bit more because, man, I need to get back to the gym.
Or some heavy breathing because, yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So we're not in the best of shape, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize about that. Yeah, I know I've gained a little bit of weight, but don't judge me.
Please don't judge me. It's a judgment-free zone. All right, the rundown. We're here to talk about sports, not our waistlines, okay? This ain't The View or The Talk or all that other riffraff, okay? All right, so here we go. We talking about sports. We got the draft coming up on the 23rd. If I'm not mistaken, as I'm looking at my calendar, 3 days away, which means it's a Thursday. So the NFL draft, fellas. So from the looks of it, of course, you know, obviously number one, we got Joe Burrow number one, Chase Young number two, number three, Derrick Brown. Going to the Lions. This is according to Mel Kiper's mock draft. Isaiah Simmons from Clemson going to the Giants at 4. Tua going to the Dolphins at 5. Justin Herbert going to the Chargers at 6. And Jeff Okudah, cornerback from Ohio State, going to the Panthers at 7. Javon Kinlaw, defensive lineman from the University of South Carolina, going to 8 spot at the Cardinals. Number 9, Jerry Jeudy from the University of Alabama, wide receiver, going to the Jaguars at 9. And number 10, offensive tackle from Georgia, Andrew Thomas. Fellas, what do you think about this mock draft? Accurate, off? Could we see some shakeup? Have you heard anything? What's going on?
I'm looking forward to the quarterback situation because I'm not solely convinced that the Dolphins are going to be comfortable sitting there waiting at 5 to get Tua. I think they want Tua, but I don't think they're the only team that wants Tua. Maybe the Chargers sneak up and try to get into business with Detroit at number 3. I think the Giants are a possibility of wanting to move out of there. I think I did hear that. So there still could be some wheeling and dealing done before the end of the night on Thursday. So that to me is the most intriguing part of this draft is the quarterback situation. I hear the arguments that Herbert might be the better pick. I don't think so. I don't think he's better than Tua, more durable for sure. So there's going to be a lot of, the pros and cons of these teams weighing to see which of those guys they want to take. And then what's his name? Bryce Love. Is that the guy? Did I say his name right? He's a sleeper quarterback
Not
coming
Bryce
in.
Love, but something other Love. I know you. I'll look him
Are
up.
you talking about Jordan Love?
Yes, Jordan Love. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think
That guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, my interest is Tua. That's my interest in the draft. I want to see what's going on with Tua. But Jordan Love. Yeah, I don't know why I said Bryce Love. Jordan Love is the guy who seems to be his name has gotten hot in the last couple weeks as far as teams that are interested with quarterbacks. But I'm even hearing that the Panthers have serious interest in that guy. So the quarterback situation is to me what is the most interesting. I mean that's pretty natural. We're not guys that sit and study rosters deep and see who's going to go, in the 4th and 5th rounds of the the second, third days of the draft. It's first round quarterbacks. That's the most interesting part of the draft.
Yep, that is true.
Eddy Kool, you were reading off a little bit. Did you say the latest mock draft had Derek Brown at number 3?
Yeah, because before the last couple mock drafts, he was
definitely 7th.
Yeah, for the Panthers. So yeah, so something happened.
So a little shake up, a little moving and shaking right there. The thing that intrigues me the most, though, is that recently they released some Wonderlic scores from the quarterbacks, and it was mistakenly tweeted that Tua scored a 9 on the Wonderlic test. And the whole world went crazy because a 9 on the Wonderlic test is borderline dumb. Like
I was gonna say it, but
I have a few more choice words, but I'm gonna try to be professional. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 9 is not a good number. But it was mistakenly tweeted, and actually Tua scored a 19 on the Wonderlic test. Where 20 is about the average for your NFL player.
Was it 9 or 19?
The actual score he got was 19.
Okay, all right.
So, but yeah, it was mistakenly tweeted that he scored a 9, and the whole internet nation went crazy. 9 is not a good number at all. And just a little bit of comparison. Joe Burrow, I believe, scored a 34. Just a couple other notables. T. Higgins from Clemson scored an 11. Ouch. But then again, just to throw out there, Dan Marino scored a 9. So the Wonderlic test, yes, is one of those thinking man tests. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I believe, scored the highest. Of any quarterback I believe he scored a 48, but I believe he went to Harvard, right?
Yeah, he's Ivy League. So
he's already he's smart, but it's one of those things where that doesn't necessarily equate to being a freaking outstanding player. It just means you got book smarts. Lamar Jackson got an 11 on the Wonderlic test, but was the NFL MVP.
Yeah,
I mean, so I'm just saying.
Wonderlic is so meaningless.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain aspects to the game where it helps to be a thinking man, but sometimes really instincts and raw talent can overcome lack of book smarts. So, and just for the record, fellas, I took the Wonderlic earlier today and I scored a 44, so I still got it.
All right. B-Live scored a 44 on the Wonderlic test. If you ask me to take it, I'm gonna kind of reply, hell no. I just graduated. My brain is not returned back to normal. Not no happening.
I thought about putting that on our Facebook page. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I already know people ain't trying to rack their brains with all this stuff, and I don't want nobody going through all the emotions of. It's not a competition. This is solely for my benefit. It actually was a competition on another page that I was on, and I scored the second highest out of anybody that took it, and I scored better than the guy that's his job is mechanical engineering, which that's a thinking man's job. So I feel okay about myself because I feel old, senile. My brain don't quite work half the time. My memory ain't there no more. So I still got it a little bit.
So Scottie D, what you scored in one lick test?
990.
990.
Yeah.
Out of a possible 50 points. Nice.
Oh, that might have been the SAT. I'm sorry.
He's like, they all kind of run together. They all kind of run together.
Yeah.
So interesting, man. I did see some rumors about the Lions and the Giants might flip-flop spots, or they're open for business to do some trading. But it'll be interesting to see coming to you live from Roger Goodell's basement. I told y'all he got that good drink down there. Coming live from his basement, we have the 2020 NFL Draft.
Yep, I hope he's right in the middle of announcing a pick and his wife comes down with a load of clothes to throw in the dryer. I hope something really, really stupid happens at Roger Goodell's home.
Roger, can you wash my underwear?
Yeah,
there's a busted pipe.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. I would just die right then and there.
Yeah, he would have to have a dump button on that for real, man. For real. All right, so that about wraps it up for the NFL Draft preview. So, fellas, we can all agree Joe Burrow number 1 to the Bengals, right?
No brainer.
Yeah.
No brainer. Yeah, because even Andy Dalton said, yeah, you know what? I'll come back for my 10th season. Even if you draft a quarterback, I'll come back. Probably because nobody wants you, Andy. But in the words of the almighty beehive, I digress. This is Sunday night, as one of the co-hosts mentioned earlier. And guess what? We watched episodes 1 and 2 of The Last Ride about the Michael Jordan and the Bulls that won the last championship. The trifecta, the last one of the three-peat. It was pretty good, fellas. The storytelling was interesting. You know, they would show the moment and then, hey, let's go back to here, then let's go here, then let's go here. So, I like the way the storytelling is. So we saw episode 1 where it was about, what was it about? It was about Jordan himself, right?
Mostly, yeah. They kind of were given the preview of them, the preseason of the final season where they were in France, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They touched on that, some of Jordan's background, just kind of the background of the team and how Jerry Krause had assembled them, Jerry Reinsdorf's input. Very interesting. I agree with you. I liked how they kind of went back in time. We're kind of bouncing around with the storylines there. I thought that was well told from what I saw. I know this much. Jerry Krause is sitting at home being like, I can't wait for this to be over. I got 4 more weeks of this. Because he looks like the villain. He looks like the idiot in this whole situation. I mean, early on, Phil Jackson talks about how he comes into his office and says, I don't care if you win 82 games. This is going to be your last season. Man, what? Are you kidding? I mean, you want to get rid of the best coach ever because you think you might want to do a rebuild? And how does Reinsdorf go along with this? Why would you say, all right, I'll let you dismantle a team? Because Jordan's saying he's not going to come back without Phil. You got the hottest thing in the history of sports, and you're going to keep Jerry Krause around? I mean, that would never happen today. Imagine that if whoever LeBron's favorite coach is, if he, like, say he's in that situation, LeBron ain't having that. The GM's going to go before, LeBron's favorite coach today would go. I mean, it's just not the same world. There's no way that this would happen in today's culture.
No, Beeline, what you think about it?
Man, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you one of the nails on the head. Like, there was highlights of Jerry Krause's genius and also his folly. Like the fact that he was able to draft Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen in the same year, that's unheard of in an NBA draft. Like how he was able to maneuver and put that together, that was that.
You're right.
Right
That was you're right. He was brilliant in that. And B-Lab, I remember at the time when they traded Oakley for Cartwright, and they kind of touched on it a little bit towards the end of the second episode tonight. And I remember thinking that might be a mistake because Charles Oakley was like a hard-nosed player, and Cartwright to me seemed like an older, fading, center who was never a superstar anyway. And I remember thinking that wasn't a good deal. And as Michael Jordan himself said, that was a good deal. And so you're right. Krause has definitely showed some things, and as far as his ability to put a team together.
But yeah. My problem is Charles Oakley. Listen to me, man to man. I know you extra big, all right, and I know I'm a little wide. But if I had Scottie Pippen's size, what you ain't gonna do is slap my face in front of camera.
Oh my goodness!
That's what you ain't finna do. I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you. I might not land no blows. There's gonna be a lot of grabbing. It's gonna be some tussling, some heavy tussling. We're gonna flip a chalkboard with a few expletives and everything. But what you ain't finna do is slap my face with a camera present. I'm gonna knock your ass out, cuz. Pardon my French. I don't use my first cuss word. I'm gonna knock your ass out, man. I don't care how big, how old, how tough you are.
Oh my goodness! I'm telling you, I was like, oh my. Oh, he's
like, hi, and it slaps across the face, and I was like,
"Oh,
nah,
we got to go."
A fight would have came with it, fellas. A fight would have came with it.
Man, oh man, yeah. So a lot of the second episode featured Scottie Pippen and a lot of things that he was going through, and man, that right there hit home. For me, it was like a lot of stuff you didn't really know. And like right now, I still can't believe 7 years, 18 million.
Yeah, but you know what? When I'm looking back on this, and Jerry Krause is, like I said, he's looking like the villain here. And someone even mentioned said a line, and he wanted to be loved and accepted, and he wasn't, and he was getting jealous over that, and that was kind of why he wanted to dismantle the team. But again, if you're the owner, why aren't you stepping in and saying, Scottie should be taken care of. He won already at this point 5 championships for us as the second best player on the team. Jordan was gone for a season and a half, and Pippen was among the top 2 or 3 players in the entire league during that time. So reward him a little bit. And they said, oh, he didn't do that. Once you came to the table, he didn't want to see you again. But that, and again, that wouldn't happen in today's NBA either.
Oh, that definitely wouldn't. Oh,
but why not? If you're the owner, why not try to make these guys happy? I mean, you had the best thing going. I mean, those guys were like the Beatles around the world.
Yep.
These guys were top-notch celebrities. Maybe it ran its course and it was going to start to collapse anyway. I don't know if you could got a 4th year out of Rodman at that point because he was kind of losing his mind. But the rest of that team, you were going to keep winning. You weren't going to just all of a sudden be not good anymore if you still have Jordan, Pippen, and Phil. I didn't get that. That to me, I think Jerry Reinsdorf is kind of culpable in dismantling that team as anyone.
Both Reinsdorf and Krause, they're both guilty. They are both guilty for being like, okay, number one, hey man, we got to give Scottie some money. Like, what was the graphic where he said he was at that time? He was the 122nd.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Like in rankings of how like who made the most money, he was 122nd.
Sixth on the team.
Sixth on the team.
Yeah, 6th on the team, which means Rodman made more than him. Ron Harper, who came off the bench, made more than him. Luke Long, are you serious?
Michael Jordan made more that one season than Scottie Pippen made over the past 7, almost double.
Yeah.
Almost double. Michael Jordan made $33 million that 97-98 year.
And Pippen had 3.5 or something like that.
I, I, I don't,
2.8,
I,
2.8.
I don't blame Scotty. I wasn't gonna F up my summer neither. No.
So yeah, that was so that was another thing where he said, "Why am I giving up my summer if they ain't gonna pay me? Shoot, I'm enjoying my summer. I'm not playing for that, man." And for them to still, and like I said, that's still, we got 8 more episodes to go, but that's a lot of that stuff we just didn't
But
know.
see, I
No.
actually disagree with Scotty on taking that stance too, because regardless, he was still being paid. He was being paid a contract that he agreed to, and you know, you can go round and round with this kind of conversation for days, because I even say, you know, we have this about some of today's NFL players. We talked about on this show before about guys not fulfilling their contractual obligations. Guys like Zeke, you know, we were talking about Zeke Elliott last year doing this. I think he still needs to be on the team, and you know, he's still part of the team. He's being paid to be there. Michael said it in the documentary. He was a little disappointed because Scotty was wrong in that situation, and Pippen had a little of that going on. You know, if you remember during Jordan's hiatus, there was a playoff game, and I think it was against the Knicks, where Tony Kukoc took the final shot because Pippen didn't have the play drawn up for him and sat on the bench. You guys remember that at all?
Yeah, vaguely, but I do. Yeah, and Pippen
There
was
was
on the
like
bench.
1.8 seconds left in a game, and he was upset because the play didn't get drawn for him. So he sat. Tony Kukoc got the call and hit the shot and won the game at the buzzer. You know, you had a little that kind of weirdness with Pippen from time to time. You know, he always seemed to be accepting of the fact that Jordan was the alpha dog on the team, but he just had that weird kind of, I don't know, like, and I guess a lot of it goes with he felt unappreciated and, you know, underpaid, and he was, you know, let's be honest about it, standards.
Severely.
But he did have a little bit of that weird selfishness every once in a while with him, I think.
Well, and one thing though that this documentary taps into is the fact there was a lot of reasoning behind that. Not only like when he signed that contract was, I mean, everybody was like, why would you sign that long of a contract? You're underselling yourself. You got to think of this kid from a town of 3,500 in BFE, Arkansas.
That's much money.
Happy to get paid.
This has 11 brothers and sisters. I was like, woo. And when I heard his brother talk, I was like, woo, he is country.
Mason jar. Mason jar with the shine in it.
I tell you what. So I understood the reason behind why he signed that contract. And then even when they talked about his collegiate career, he only played 2 years at Central Arkansas, and like he wasn't even a scholarship player until like, so it was like one of those things where he went from nothing to the fifth pick in the draft. Like, where did this even come from? He was under 6 foot when he started at college and grew 7-8 inches in college.
That was crazy to me.
I was like, wow, in college, that is the latest growth spurt. So I was like, wow, this guy has gone from nothing to everything in that quick. And he was like, man, shoot, let me sign something to get something just in case if I get injured. And then next thing you know, here comes all this money and he can't have none. So yeah, I'd be a little jaded myself, but I mean, that's sort of the risk reward thing.
You know what's crazy, Eli, too, and I might be mistaken on this, but I think we'll hear about it next week, because next week's the 3rd episode is going to get into the Rodman stuff. But I think Dennis Rodman had a similar growth spurt, like also late, like after.
Yep, I was just about to mention that.
He did, right? He had something similar happen to him. So isn't that crazy that two guys, you know, that's so rare to be through high school and then grow 5, 6, 7 inches and have two guys that end up playing together that, you know, with a similar story as far as that. I had heard that about Rodman, I thought, but I don't think I knew that happened with Scottie Pippen, that he had such a late growth spurt like that after he was already in college. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I had no idea about Scottie Pippen's story either. You know, I know he came from, you know, like B-Life say, you know, Central Arkansas? Yeah, Central Arkansas, and, you know, in the middle of Paycheck, Arkansas, and just in the country, and And then, him having that growth spurt, I'm like, well, wow, that almost, because the first thing I said to myself, growth spurt that late, that damn near sound like Dennis Rodman. Yep, because that too, man. I bet a lot of those games in the finals, man, Dennis Rodman didn't have any sleep.
Yeah.
He didn't have
He's
any
getting
sleep.
it done out all night.
They said Dennis would go and party till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Might come back, take a nap. Might have might get something to eat. He might take a shower, come to practice funky, and then he go home. He might or might not go to sleep, but come back and get you 7 points and 25 rebounds. But yeah, I saw something. Somebody put together a real interesting video. The series where they played against Seattle. How they made an interesting case for Dennis Rodman being the MVP of the NBA Finals that year. At first, I was like, "What the hell is this?" But when they would talk about, like pivotal situations, Dennis's energy, him grabbing the rebounds, him scoring when it was necessary, and I was like, "Oh." And then the video also pointed out that series, Jordan and Pippen, it was their least productive, championship series when as a duo. And I was like, wow. So Dennis Rodman pretty much kept them like in that series, which I'm not surprised me. He was all over the place.
Yeah, he did have a ton of energy. That was his thing.
Yeah, because I think George Karl was like, you might want to. I think George Karl said, hey, you might want to consider him for the Finals MVP. I know you got Michael. I know you got Scottie, but you might want to consider him for the Finals MVP. So yeah, fellas. Next week we got episode 4 and 5, and they're gonna be talking about Dennis Rodman. I kind of want to go back and watch the replay. They even cussed a little bit. They
was cussing. They was cussing.
Yeah, they was cussing. A few cussing tapes.
It'd be 3 and 4. 3 and 4 coming up next Sunday.
I'm sorry, 3 and 4. 3 and 4 next Sunday. I think there's a rule after 9 o'clock you can kind of use those colorful words or whatnot because I'm like, hey, they do a lot of AEW. What's going on now? And then I'm like, oh, okay, all right, it's after 9 o'clock. The kids should be in bed by that time. So yeah, so fellas, we like the last ride so far.
Absolutely,
absolutely.
Yeah, interesting, very interesting.
Last dance.
Last dance, last ride. Did I call it the last ride? Yeah, I'm sorry. The last dance, the last ride, the Undataker, all them. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the last ride match. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, the last dance. I'm sorry for the snafu. The last dance, and Phil even called it the last dance. I don't understand how in the hell. I don't care if you win 82 games. But this is your last year. What? Are you high? Are you drunk?
Yeah.
Anyways, moving right along. Hey, Button, hit it.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and lovely Miss Button for the introduction of the choices of the voices section to the show. Look, I done told y'all 55 episodes in, the woman ain't lying. She telling the truth. Because this is our favorite part of the show. Man, I tell you what, you want to talk about a mass turnout? I'm starting to believe, like, hey, all these folks may be practicing social distancing and they may be quarantined because we got a boatload. And Scottie D, I'm going to ask you, what was the question for this week's?
The question was to name your Mount Rushmore, your top 4 ever sports announcers. And again, we didn't limit it to just play-by-play or color or studio. It was just pick any 4 from anybody that was talking sports. And you're right, Eddy Kool, we had a ton. So what do we get?
Yeah, I had to go back and check like 4 times to make sure I didn't forget anybody. We probably about, from the looks of it, we probably got damn near 20. And we got some newbies and some old ones, and let's get it started. So we got Matty Uliski, one of my coworkers up here at the Cheesecake Factory. He said his Mount Rushmore is John Madden, Howard Cosell, Bob Costas, and Chris Collinsworth. No, he joked about Chris Collinsworth. He said the last one is Dickie V, baby. Dick Vitale. All right, so we got terrible Pete Talansky. He said number 1 by far, Vin Scully, the best broadcaster to ever call any game. Number 2, John Madden. Number 3, Bob Shepard. And number 4, Doc Emmerich, fellas. You remember Doc Emmerich? He taught us a new word last year, exaltations. So, yeah.
NHL
One time
legend
for Doc.
Emmerich.
Yeah, that's Doc. That's the one, the only Mike Doc Emmerich. Okay, we got Yvonne Lynn Florence Wales. I said your whole government name. Sorry. Here we go. She selected Don Meredith, Howard Cosell, Dickie V, and Jimmy V. Okay, interesting. All right, so we got Mike Davis. He said Dan Patrick, Al Michaels, Scott Van Pelt, and Jim Nance.
Interesting.
All right, and and Rodney. He said, give me Al Michaels, Jim Nance, Dan Patrick, Stuart Scott, and a sleeper, Bill Raftery, probably my favorite voice of NCAA college
with a
basketball.
Kiss.
Yeah, with the kiss. Yep. So he Al Michaels, Jim Nance, and Jim Nance is he's that dude every year the Masters. What is this line for the Masters?
Tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS.
When you hear Jim Nance's voice, the Masters, oh yes, it's that time. But at least we'll get that in November.
Yeah,
hopefully.
that is a beautiful thing every year when the Masters comes on, hearing that voice. And we got a couple for Dan Patrick. I hadn't even thought about him, but Dan Patrick getting a little respect here from some of the listeners. Al Michaels getting a lot of love here.
Al Michaels. And then we got me and B-Li's personal favorite, Stuart Scott.
Oh, yeah.
The legendary Stuart Scott.
Cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Nice.
Booyah! Jam. Oh, jam. See what happened was. I think he was the first one to put it on a national scale. See, what had happened was, oh man, it was just whenever you tuned in the Sports Center and saw him, you knew what time it was, man. He was a showman. He was great
with the cross culture thing too, because there was not a lot of African American announcers at that point in time. I mean, you look at ESPN now and it's much more diverse. All the networks really are, but Stewart really was crossing boundaries, man. White people loved that because he was kind of bringing it together. It made us feel cool to say Stuart Scott things. It did, man.
Hey, inclusion, baby.
He was so cool.
It was all about inclusion, and here it is. He since passed away due to cancer, and we still talking about it now. So that goes to show the impact that Stuart Scott had to us connoisseurs and consumers of sports. All right, moving right along, we got Rambus Evans. He said Chris Berman, Harry Carey, Bob Costas, and Jim McKay.
Yeah.
One for Jim McKay. All right, All right, Paul Blust. He said Mel Allen, Keith Jackson, Vin Scully, and ding, 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 another one for Jim McKay.
McKay getting some love.
Yeah. Yep. So we got Doug Severs here. He selected Kurt Gowdy, Al Michaels, Pat Summerall, and Keith Jackson.
Nelly.
Nelly. Yeah, good old Keith Jackson. Yep. All right, Corey Rayner. He said Al Michaels, Stuart Scott, Dan Patrick, and Dickie V, baby.
Dickie.
All right. Yeah, the legendary. Here we go. We got Dan Becker. He selected John Madden, Stuart Scott, good old Jim Ross, and John Sterling. Not too familiar with John Sterling, but B-Live, what do we have our first?
We got our first on wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling right there. Good old.
And John Sterling is the voice of the Yankees on radio, and he's excellent. He's not as known on the national scene, but as Yankee fans go, he's outstanding. And I listen to him a lot on XM radio now. Driving around the car, so that he has just a deep resonating voice. He's very, very good.
Isn't that Michael? Does Michael K still do the Yankee games? Okay, all right, yeah, because I know one of those dudes have a real prominent voice. I'm like, hey, this is he got a face for radio.
Michael K, he does a lot of Yes Network stuff, but if you ever hear, every once in a while, you'll hear John Sterling does a home run call where he decorates the home run call according to the player's name, it's an A bomb from A-Rod, stuff like that. That's kind of thing. He assigns everyone a home run call for the Yankees, and he, like I said, he's very, very good.
Good. All right, moving right along, we got Rich Metzger back again. Harry Callis, Steve Sable, Merrill Reese, and Myron Cope. All right, then and see, then he said Howard S can go pound sand. What a dope.
Oh wow. Uh-oh.
Go pound sand. I love that one. OG the GOAT, Uncle Max, he said Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell, John Madden, and Gordon Soley. Ooh. The Dean of Wrestling, Gordon Soley. Wow. Yeah, Gordon Soley, one of the greats of all times. He'll be like, Gordon Soley here. All right, we got JR. He got Sue Scott, Dick Vitale, Chris Berman, John Madden. Boom, tough at interacting. Mike Cano. Okay, so he's from Boston. So here's his 4. Mike Gorman, Tommy Heinsohn, Gil Santos, and Gino Capoletti. Those are, local guys. Nationally, he'll go Al Michaels, Marv Albert, Hubie Brown, and Dick Stockton. Okay, I can rock with that. All right, Bobby Williams, we got Al Michaels, Bob Costas, Doc Emmerich, and Jim Nance.
Lots of Al Michaels coming up. Another one for Jim Nance. I did like Rich Metzger mentioning Harry Kalas. He was the voice of the Phillies for many, many years till he died, I believe, in 2009. I think it was shortly after I think he was alive when the Phillies won the World Series in 2008, and then passed away a couple of years after that. And who else did we see that was a little bit different on that list?
I think that was the first time we came across Marv Albert's name.
Yeah, and Marv Albert too.
That was actually surprisingly so. But yeah, like there's so many names that are synonymous to certain aspects of sports, and so this was one of those questions where it has such a broad range. And it's one of those things where something that encapsulates you, like people are drawn to certain sports more than others, so they're gonna have their picks over here. Like for us wrestling guys, when somebody said Jim Ross, like, oh hey, yeah, you got to throw him in there. He's not part of my top 4, but it's one of those. There are people that their voice, their catchphrases are something that you just like, oh, that's that person easily. So I mean, I'm learning as I'm going across. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about this, but oh, that's a good one. Yes.
And there was one. Who was it that I was hearing mentioned that? Oh, Dick Stockton. He's quietly a really good one. He's like a Dick Enberg too. A guy that you just don't always think of it. That's been doing it forever. That you're just like, wow, that guy really is good. He just becomes like part of the sport, but you don't think of as some of these guys are so like steady and good that you have a guy like Marv Albert who's a little bit more flashy. Every time you hit a shot, you get the yes. He's such a colorful character. His style is so different.
Yes,
and I actually almost considered Marv for mine. And don't you guys think if he didn't have that whole situation where that weird situation where he bit a girl in the butt or something like that years ago, he kind of derailed his own career.
Booty biter.
I think at one point he was on his way to being like maybe one of the top basketball announcers in NBA history. And not that he's not, but I just think he kind of derailed himself when that whole situation arose.
He didn't do himself no favors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of the things. It's just one of those things where like you have to realize, okay, if you look at the echelon plateau or the scale, if you will, lower echelon, you can bite butts and everything. That's no big deal. Okay, you can do all that. But when you get to like Marv Albert, Jim Nance, Howard Cosell, those names, you got to move a little differently.
Yeah, then we're biting butts, I guess, when you get to a certain
you can't
point of your career. Like right now, we are all us three in the butt biting stage, and we have not achieved anything yet. We can bite away if we choose to.
Yes,
I'm not
unbelievable.
I'm not admitting to nothing. You will not get me like that. Somebody be drawing up our archives like, oh, episode 56. That's when all of the Sports Bros podcasts admit to biting butts. Yep, no, you're not about to have skeletons in my closet.
I was like, you know what? It's just I don't know what you're talking about. You just hearing things. It'll be like Vanilla Ice, doom 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 doom, and mine go doom 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 doom.
I'm just pointing out that we have not yet achieved anything yet that would pull us out of butt biting status. That's all. Yeah.
The scale.
We hope
like,
to get
scale.
We're not on we're not
Right,
on
yeah.
scandal level just yet. Gotcha.
Yeah. We're not on scandal. Yeah, like I said, there's echelons, and hey, when you're John Madden, you got to move differently. If you're some dude talking about Mississippi Mudcats, man, bite out the butt you want to. No big deal. Ain't nobody checking for you. All right, we got Trey Dizzle. Hee ha ha. This is a good one here. Number 1, Tony Romo. Number 2, Troy Aikman. Number 3, Darryl Moose Johnston. And number 4,
Solid.
Jimmy Johnson. You know what?
It's not that bad, but golly,
it ain't that bad.
What do you do the other 8 months of the year when the Dallas Cowboys aren't playing? Like,
I'm surprised Don Meredith wasn't on here. Where is he at?
golly. I love your enthusiasm about the Cowboys. I mean, and the thing about this, they're not that bad.
No, all 4 of them are not that bad. They are not. They are not. All right, so here we go. We got Titus Holly. What's going on, Titus? He said Howard Cosell, Al Michaels, Stuart Scott, and Charles Barkley, the round mound sound. Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley out of the 4. On that panel, he picked Charles Barkley. That is funny to me. Kenny Jet, sorry, Shaq Diesel, my bad. Oh my goodness, so you kidding me? But hey.
But Barkley wins Emmys every year. I mean, Barkley, he's really, really good.
Yeah,
he's really respected for how he shows up on the TNT show.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like
he's definitely outspoken. So I will.
And all those guys are really good. Kenny and Ernie, they're very underrated. They are really, really good.
Oh yeah,
Ernie Johnson. I don't think anybody put him on our list, but he's excellent.
I don't think they're underrated. I think honestly they are. I think out of all of the sports shows and commentary and play-by-play, and if you encapsulated the best lineup of commentators, analysts inside the NBA,
I'd agree.
I think is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think their chemistry, it's a joy to watch them. So I pick on Charles Barkley, but that entire lineup, they mesh very well.
And the funny thing about it is, like, a lot of people tune in, like, before the game just to watch them.
Oh, yeah.
They'll watch a little bit of the game, but they'll come back at halftime to see them. And if it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if it's just like that one game that night, they're going to come back and see the game recap. So, like, did you watch the game? But nope, I sure watched the halftime and the post-game show. Yeah, I mean, every time I see him, I put down remote control. I'm like, what are they doing now? What is Charles talking? He gonna throw a chicken bone to Shaq fat behind and all kind of riffraff. Oh, it's just hilarious. So good one there, Titus Holly. Leslie Maxo, she gave me 1. She said Myron Cope. Myron Cope is the former. He's a former announcer of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And trivia question, ding 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 ding. He was one of the co-creators of the Terrible.
He's a legend
Power.
Here in Pittsburgh.
Yep. Myron Cope. There we go. Oh, we got 2 for Myron Cope. Cope. All right, so let's see. We got another one for Paul Blust. Let me check. Do we got another one? No, we do not have another one from Paul Blust. Moving right along. Bring up the rear. We got Matty Ice. Martin Tracy. He said Charles Barkley because he's willing to say anything, and I find him funny too. Once threw a guy out of a bar window and said he'd do it again. Will McDonough, besides being a great sports writer, you know him from his NFL reports, NFL sports reporting. He once knocked out the Patriots cornerback Raymond Clayton in the locker room. I didn't know that. He had connections with famous gangster Whitey Bulger and always came up with the scoops. Check his wiki page. Man, you can't believe that mess on Wikipedia. Hey, Be Live, our boy Don, our boy Don Cherry.
Boo.
Yes, sir. Don Cherry, Captain Sabo Great. Don Cherry, he said best suits in broadcasting. Our boy Marv Albert. Well, we all know he was Mikey Mike.
Oh man,
Yeah, I had to graze on that last part about Marv Albert because we did go in that extensively. So just rewind it back and bump that there track again.
Yeah, Don Cherry, bunch of jerks. Thank you so much, Don Cherry, because you literally brought together and made a revolution here at the Carolina Hurricanes fan base, man. Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. Player hating.
Oh,
Player was hating on the game. Was hating on the game. Scottie D,
Well,
who you got for your Mount Rushmore?
This didn't go as easy for me as I thought it would, because pretty much I have three that I had nailed down. Vince Scully, I've mentioned to you guys before. I think he's the best broadcaster in the history of any sport. Al Michaels, I'm going to agree with all the people that went with him because he Monday Night Football those years. He was the first broadcaster to ever do the championship for all four major sports. He's done Olympics, obviously the hockey, U.S. hockey in 1980. Howard Cosell, I have to go with him because he was very, very important at a time when him and Muhammad Ali sort of went hand in hand. And Muhammad Ali is one of the most prominent sports figures of all time. And he was kind of helping that along, if you will. And at a time when football was really starting to grow in popularity in our country, he was the voice of Monday Night Football, and that was very significant. So Vince Scully, Al Michaels, and Howard Cosell were my top three. And then I struggled because I actually considered Chris Berman because of how important he was to ESPN and how ESPN has grown, to such a big conglomerate. And then hard to not pick Keith Jackson because of how important he's been to college football. I wanted to say John Madden or Pat Summerall, but they're together. I felt like they're the best tandem of all, but they really chemistry. They fed off one another. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, my fourth person is going to be Doc Emmerich, just because I think hockey is such a difficult sport to do, and he is so good at it. And if you can watch a game that you're not that interested in, and an announcer makes it better, makes it interesting, then I can go with that. So Doc Emmerich edges out some of those other guys that I considered, but Vince Scully to me is still the top, the top of the food chain. But Al Michaels has kind of been woven into American culture the way Howard Cosell once was, and mm-hmm. Doc Emmerich, I think we're only in the middle of his legend. He's going to continue to grow as one of the greatest of all time.
Yep. Did we have a conversation a while back about, like I said, Doc Emmerich did teach us, we learned from the doc last year. He did teach us a new word, exaltations. And like you said, Scottie D, when it comes to Doc Emmerich, it's the way that he, like you'll see the game being played and you hear the commentary, but when you hear his commentary, he'll be like, okay, he'll, back to 5-on-5 advantage, da-da-da-da-da, and he'll just reset everything for you. So that
absolutely.
way it's easy for you to understand. And he doesn't beat you across the head with catchphrase and everything. He keeps it simple. He keeps it informative, and he keeps it entertaining.
And
Doc
hockey,
really knows his stuff.
It's so fast moving with the guys coming in and out of the games. It's not like other sports where you're substituting in and out on a in a slower pace. These guys, they're coming at you constantly over the boards. He is just excellent. Yep. He is so good at what he does.
Yeah, he's really good at what he does. Be Live, who you got?
Man, mine's very simple. Like three of mine, a lot of people mention Stuart Scott easily is going to be my number one all time. He's the reason why I am doing this right now. So Stuart Scott cooler than the other side of the pillow. Y'all took all the catchphrases. He's got so many, but yeah.
Yeah.
Booyah. Love him. Then Dickie V. Are you kidding me? Dick Vitale, Dipsy Doo Jamboree, baby. Come
Energy.
On, God. It's one of those things. Can you imagine a college basketball game and not imagine Dick Vitale? And then on top of that, I find out, just doing a little extra research, that me and Dickie V got the same birthday, baby. Are you kidding me? Oh,
hey.
What?
Hey.
He is a PCPer, baby. He's a PCPer.
Man, my third one.
Yeah. Blue chipper, baby.
Oh, love it. Chris Berman. Come on now. Come on. That's too easy. He could go all the way. I mean, just Chris Berman, love him, love him. Again, one of those voices that's synonymous with football. And then I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed,
Dabo?
but I get it. It's newer.
The Dabo?
It's newer. No, God bless. But no, it's not. Oh.
That's what I was gonna
But
ask.
you know what?
Who's the Clemson announcer? No.
I don't know. I'm so ashamed. But yeah, this was my fourth choice. Nobody mentioned, but he's newer. But it's, again, I'm going to say just an accolade of his, and then maybe you'll guess it. I mean, Steph Curry. Like, I honestly think Steph Curry wouldn't be as flashy as he is if it wasn't for this
Dabo?
certain announcer. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Mike Breen.
Bang!
Bang! Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That catchphrase alone, literally, it just brings so much energy. Like I said, Steph Curry just, like, literally, I can't even imagine a Steph Curry 3 without a Mike Breen bang. So I mean, that's my 4. I'm a different type of person. So hey,
It is what it is, man. Every time, and the thing about it is, like, every time I think of a 3-point shot being shot, I don't care if I'm like watching 2 kids down the street shooting a basketball or something on TV. I always hear Mike Breen. It's in my head. Bang!
it's right. That's what's like. He, like I said, of course he's not new to the game, but definitely like is more recent than most of these others that we speak of. But like that's literally is synonymous with NBA basketball right now, and like so he got my number 4 pick. Definitely got my number 4.
Yep. All right. So as a press time, fellas, I've been so up and down, left and right. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So here goes. All right, number 1 on my Mount Rushmore, I would have to say Kevin Harlan.
Yeah.
Kevin Harlan has a style. I forgot what game it was, and Animal ran out on the field, and he made that more exciting than the game itself.
I'm with you on that. Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, so,
I don't think anybody mentioned him either.
No, we didn't. We didn't get a Kevin Harlan. We didn't get a Joe Buck. We did. There's a few we didn't get either. So So there's Kevin Harlan, and then there's Howard Cosell.
We could tell. We could tell.
I watched something on here. I watched Peyton's Place today on ESPN, and it was showing like Al Michaels and Peyton Manning talking about like before they would have the halftime shows. You love this little tidbit. Before they have the halftime shows back like they do now, back in the day, you would find out what happened on Sunday come Monday night. Howard Cosell would give it to you. And Howard Cosell wouldn't have any notes. He wouldn't have any kind of notes. He looked at the screen. Archie Manning dropping back the pass. Oh, this favorite touchdown to his tight end from something other. And then Tony Dorsett running the ball. Heisman Trophy winner. Gashing through the middle. He could go touchdown. And the Cowboys win. For Tony Dorsett. It was.
I hate to be
Howard
so old
Cosell
here, but
Howard
I can
Cosell.
remember being very excited to see highlights that I hadn't seen before. Now you get them all day long when you watch NFL football. But when I was, 8, 9 years old, we didn't see it all that, I'm talking about like 1980, 1979, 1980. And that was very exciting to watch the highlights and hearing Howard Cosell do that. I mean, I can attest to that myself.
Yep. Let's see. Then we also have Stuart Scott because, he bought the flash and the flare, as B Live mentioned. And when it comes to number 4, I am just torn. I am completely torn. Like, there's like, okay, if I put this one there and I drop that one off, and I put that one there, I drop it off. It's just like, what in the? It's just. Nah, it ain't her. I thought
See, we were gonna go without even mentioning her. You know what? We want to do you a solid. You did it yourself that time.
I was stalling for you, Eddie.
Yeah, you did it to you. What's the fourth guy? What's the fourth guy? Yeah, I'm over here having a brain fart. Like
Bob Cox.
I mean, Joey Styles of ECW. Okay. Reason I put him on, the Mount Rushmore, and he might be an interchangeable piece because instead of the classic like Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross, he would do the whole match by himself. Just like Vin Scully would call a game by himself. And for you to have the ability to call games and call matches by yourself without a color commentator beside you, that you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. Because you think about Vin Scully, he's calling balls and strikes. He's giving you all the information you needed. And then,
So
I'm putting Vin Scully on the list
between
too.
Vin Scully
So I'm
and
torn.
Joey Styles. Is that?
But wait a minute.
This better be good.
I got another one. I got another one. I got another one.
That's very legit.
Joe Buck.
Yeah.
Joe Buck, as much as people don't like him, I mean, yes, he seemed like he had an infatuation with Kyle Schwarber during the World Series, but you know what?
Joe Buck's like the voice of postseason baseball too, so I can get down with you on that one.
Yeah, so it's just those three to choose from, and if push comes to shove,
all right,
no disrespect,
I'm glad
Sorry,
you went
Joe,
with
I would
someone
put Joe Buck up
instead of the wrestling guy. Honestly, you had me very nervous for a second there.
I was nervous because his mountain went into Minnesota. I was like,
Minnesota.
I was like, we didn't left we didn't left the Dakotas now. Mount Rushmore. How many more people you gonna put up there? But I got you. It's just like me and on my Pepper Points a few episodes ago.
You got 9 of them. I tell you what, my Mount Rushmore damn near like an 8-piece nugget.
All right, next week is not so much of a question as I'm just going to ask you to tell us about an encounter you had with someone from the world of sports. Like, did you meet an athlete, manager, announcer? Good experience, bad experience? Tell us just a brief description of an experience you had with somebody from the world of sports. When I was working at Overtime through the years, I was lucky to meet a handful of athletes, some that were cooler than others. But I'm sure many of us as sports fans have made it a point to be around pro athletes at some point, and just would like to hear your experience with someone from the world of sports.
I got to pick my most pleasant experience. I got good experience with a lot of athletes that I've met. That'll be my homework. So you heard from the Money Man, Scottie D. Share with us your experience, your good experience or not so good experience by meeting an athletes, like in real life, like standing in front of me. Not none of this 6 feet social distancing. So that about does it for this edition of Choices of the Voices. Fellas, that was a good one. What do you think about that? That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. A lot of participation. Thank you so much to everyone.
Yep. Before I leave, I got to thank everybody. All right.
Deep breath.
Matt Uliski, Pete Talansky, Yvonne Lynn Florence Wales, Mike Davis, Rodney O'Neal Bellamy, Rambus Evans, Paul Bluss, Doug Severs, Corey Rayner, Dan Becker, Rich Metzger. Here we go. Uncle Max, JR, Mike Canole, Bobby Williams, Trey Dizzle, Titus Holly, Leslie Maxo, and Martin Tracy, Matty Ice, for this week's participation in the Choices of the Voices section. Somebody get me a water.
Woo! I love it. Wow.
All right. Give myself the go home cue. Why? Because it's time for us to go. Because B-Live got to go to work, and we ain't going to keep him up too late. But I digress. We going home, rounding third base. I'm going to slide head first and not stumble and fall like I got nervous. Around the pepper, 3 topics. Rapid fire style, kind of sort of not really, but you get it. And in the tradition of what I've been doing the past few episodes, I will give you this day in the history of sports. And I'll go first. This day in history, in 1996, the Chicago Bulls win their record 72nd game of the season on this day, but they finished the season 72-10 en route into another Bulls.
All right, something I was a little disappointed in here recently was the Dak Prescott party. You know, this is a guy who's lobbying for a big-time contract, and he has a party. Now, he says there was only 10 or less people there. TMZ says there was about 30 people there. He's calling it a dinner party. They're saying it was a social gathering. Either way, this is the guy that the Cowboys are going to be paying big money to make decisions. Come on, Dak. Be smarter than that. Make better decisions. Be live with you. Do better.
Hashtag do better.
Is this the same Dak Prescott that said that $34 million couldn't feed his family?
That had to be a joke.
That had to have been a joke. I didn't research it. It looked like a joke, but it's just like, wow, really? Anyway, moving on. All right. My first pepper point. NFL has joined the electronic sports realm with the Madden 2020 tournament, celebrity tournament, featuring a couple of these first round matchups. I'm going to read off real quick. DeAndre Nuke Hopkins versus Little Yachty, Little Boat. And DeAndre Hopkins, as you know, went to the wonderful Clemson Tigers University. All roads lead to Dabo.
And his old coach hates him.
Oh, man.
Bill O'Brien.
I'm going to let that go now. All right. You have Cam Jordan going against Melvin Gordon. So, a little Flash Gordon against Cam Killer Jordan. You got Marquise Brown versus YG. I'm supposed to know who YG is, but I don't. So
he's a rapper.
I know, but I still don't know nothing. I don't know nothing, but he's in the Celebrity Madden tournament. Good for him. You have Omar Raja versus Stephon Diggs.
Dino Raja? Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Katie Nolan versus Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee did not get any mentions with the color commentary, which is I'll put his name in the hat a little bit too. So you said no.
He said
no. All right.
Because he's from West Virginia. No, I'm joking.
All right. Yeah, Daniel Cormier, UFC.
Is this a Madden tournament or is this an XFL video game tournament? I'm just curious. Okay. I didn't know if this was maybe
this is a Madden tournament.
This is Madden. Okay, gotcha. Carry on.
All right, and finishing off the first round matchups, you have Travis Kelce versus Snoop Dogg. And according to analysts and experts and Madden players alike, Snoop Dogg is the favorite to win it all. So we will find out. This will actually be airing on the ESPN digital platform. So the ESPN app starting Monday. We were recording this on Tuesday, so it'll be Monday, the day before. At noon, you'll be able to watch these matchups on ESPN on the ESPN app.
We're recording on Monday for Tuesday.
Well, now it's Monday. We started Sunday, and we were
Oh, it is. Oh, okay, it's after midnight. Okay,
all right, cool. Whatever this guy said, I'm gonna give.
Yeah, that was the longest pepper
Eddy Kool,
point of all time. So Eddie, let's
the ball.
All right, so here we go. This day in history, 2012. Does this name sound familiar? Philip Humber?
Yeah, but I can't remember why.
Fellas? I'm gonna tell you why. Because in 2012, on this very day, He was a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, and he pitches the 21st perfect game in Major League Baseball history against the Seattle Mariners.
All right. Well,
Philip
while
Humber.
I'm not
Over to you, Scottie
memorizing
D.
the whole Madden thing, I am looking for something that's sports to watch on TV, and who better to watch during these trying times than Shaq? I don't know if you guys have seen the Shaq Life show yet. Have you guys seen this yet? Oh, it's fantastic. If you get a chance, tune in on Thursday night. Samuel L. Jackson narrating. It's just kind of following Shaq around. He's DJing. He's signing autographs. He's working out. And it's fantastic because you know why? It's Shaq. Be Live, over to you.
Samuel. All right. So I did not know Samuel L. Jackson was narrating it. Well, that makes it even better.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen previews of it. I just haven't gotten around it. I've been binging on Blacklist and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sorry, I'm getting there. I'm gonna get there. All right. Second pepper point. Going back to NASCAR. For what? I just enjoy. I enjoy this iRacing thing, and William Byron repeats and wins his second consecutive iRacing NASCAR event, and this one was held at Richmond. The Richmond Motor Speedway was the virtual race course that they used this week. So William Byron wins it again, and there was no theatrics this week. None of that N-words throwing around, no rage quitting, but yeah. All right, William Byron, second consecutive. Eddy Kool, the ball.
Hey, what a way to save face. What a way to save face. All right. This day in history, 2001. We were talking about the NFL draft earlier. So guess what? We're going to keep it with the theme. 2001. The Atlanta Falcons select quarterback Michael Vick from Virginia Tech. And as they say, the rest.
Over to me. Well,
history.
the NBA.
Over to you, Scottie D.
Hall of Fame class of 2020 features Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett. Now, I don't know off the top of my head if there's ever been a better NBA Hall of Fame class than that one, but that one is pretty significant considering these guys got all tangled up with one another in postseason play throughout their careers. But it just goes to show you how bad 2020 sucks when Kobe Bryant losing his life has now become like almost an afterthought. So everybody stay safe out there with that COVID-19 stuff. Stay at home and watch Shaq and watch the Hall of Fame stuff and watch the Madden stuff, but stay home.
I'll finish this off, even though, we mentioned the Hall of Fame a couple of episodes ago while you was on vacation, but that's cool. You just wanted to bring it back.
I'm a Kobe
like
fan.
that.
I didn't get to
you
say
don't
it
even listen to our own
before.
stuff.
I'm Kobe fan.
Oh, no.
Okay, all right, I got you. All right, understandably so. Well, let me finish this off. Little pepper on this. Finish off. We don't have any baseball right now, so but they're talking about a shortened season. There's a lot of talks and action. So certain baseball players are trying to keep up and trying to work out, and some are doing good things and some not so much. Los Angeles Dodgers reliever Joe Kelly was working on his changeup pitch, and he was in his backyard, and let's just say that he threw a ball that was just a bit outside and crashes right through his kitchen window. And he's got to and now he has to do some redecorating.
He's a jerk. I don't like him.
So
that's going to get over well with the wife.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I was like, yeah, that's you missed just a little bit. So I figured I'd throw in that little commentary right there from Major League, just a bit outside. And that's it. Yes, sir.
People like him are the reason that everybody needs to stay in the house so we can get back to normal. See, he at the house breaking stuff.
Right.
He at the house breaking stuff. But before I go, fellas, I got one honorable mention pepper point. On this day in 1990, A National League umpire got arrested for stealing a pack of baseball cards. And that's about it for another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. It was too good. It was too good. I'm like, are you serious? What the hell? Yeah, that's it for another episode of Sports Bros podcast. The Almighty Be Live, Scottie D, the Money Man, and the HOC, Eddy Kool. We're just hanging out, chilling, trying to avoid this here COVID-19, like the landlord, like a crazy ass girlfriend, all of the above. Be Live, where can they catch the Sports Bros on social media?
Oh, you can check us out. Check us out on our Instagram page, Sports Bros Podcast, on our Twitter account, Sports Bros PCast. You can check our YouTube channel that I'm working on as well, getting some new fresh material there. You can check us out on our Facebook like page. Also check out our website, wordpress.sportsbrospodcast.com. If you have any questions about the show, you can email us at sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. You can also check out your boy, the Almighty Be Live, on Instagram and Twitter. This Be Your Boy Be Live, no I at the beginning. THSBEYABOYBLIVE. Check me out on Facebook if you like. Brian Livingston is my government name. I don't hide anything from you. You can also catch me once again because your boy is essential. You can catch me at Max Speed Shop here at 482 North McPherson Church Road here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We are open for takeout and delivery. Takeout from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. weekly. You can find us on delivery through DoorDash, Postmates, or also you can go to our website, macspeedshop.com. Only one S at the beginning, MACSPEEDSHOP.com. Yes, sir.
I'm exhausted
and
after
then
that.
some. Scottie D, where can they find
I
you?
can tell you. Yeah, I'm out of breath on that one.
A little bit out of form, out of shape. It's been a while, right?
Anymore. You can find me in Pennsylvania. I have moved on. I'm helping taking care of some family matters in Pennsylvania before I go back to the beach. That move is not imminent, but you can catch me on Facebook and follow me because we'll be putting these fun questions up here each and every week, and we greatly appreciate everyone checking us out.
Yep, you can catch me, the HOC, the head of creative, at the house chilling, eat up every damn thing. Help. Like I said, y'all please stay in the house so I can go back to work. Anyways, you can catch me on all the Sports Bros podcast related platforms that the Almighty Be Live mentioned. You can also check me out on Instagram, Cool Season, all one word. Snapchat, if you do that, that'll be super cool of 5,000. That's on Snapchat. And in the words of Coach Hunt, that's about it.
Stay home, everybody.
That's about all I got. Any final words before we get up out of here, fellas?
Stay home. Social distancing we're almost there, but we need you to be patient. Please take care of your loved ones and your family.
Yeah, take care of them. Take care of them. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else because they will greatly appreciate it, especially now more than ever. Be a blessing.
Yes, sir.
It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast.
Yeah. God. Oh, geez.